coming back, but you're gonna have to bear with me again. I'm just trying to squeak out whatever I can. So welcome. This is, we're just gonna do a little bit of a stretching routine this morning. If you have not already subscribed, please do so. We'd appreciate it very much. And you can always go over to Buy Me a Coffee if you want to support this channel a little more. And so with that, I'd also like to say that we are, in the evening live streams, we are doing a little choreography, and we're learning it piece by piece, very slowly, just kind of, it's an introduction to the process of bringing something from its beginning stages to performance. And we are going to get those live streams up. Unfortunately, because the copyrights, it's a very famous song, it's Ordinary by Alex Warren, and we need to do something so that YouTube will allow us to put those previous live streams up if you want to go back and have a look at those. But we will be continuing on Saturday, so please join us. And today we're going to be doing a little bit more of an extreme stretch because I kind of need it. I'm feeling very sore, so I really want to get a good stretch, but please do modify it. This should not hurt. It's just supposed to be a lengthening stretch. And we're just going to do a few movements that will help us with the choreography, some weight shift, and that kind of thing. So with that, let's start up on our feet because I get a little too lazy if I'm on the ground. And nice wide stance, and try and keep your back flat. You know, it's just a very natural posture, but standing up straight with your shoulders pulled back. Relax your knees, but don't bend them too much. And take a deep breath coming out the side, and inhale as you go up, and exhale as you go down. Pretty much always start with this. Bring that relaxation into your body. This is very much a passive stretching routine. You're just trying to get those muscles moving, get ready for the day, get ready to dance, to go to work, to take care of the house, take care of kids, and all the rest of us. So on the next inhale, we're going to put our feet a little wider. On the next inhale, we're going to exhale and shift our weight to our right, so over our right foot. Think about the square, which is your hips and your shoulders together. And inhale, coming to the center. And exhale, going to the side. Hello, wizards. Welcome to this live stream. I'm happy you're joining us. Follow along if you can. If you can't, just we're happy you're here, keeping us company. Now, for those of you who are new here, I'm very big about weight shift. That is the transfer of your weight from one leg to another, or in the middle, or over the edge, you know, however it is. So now we're going to, again, let's take that one stance. And very slow shoulder roll. Again, these movements do not have to be big, only if you want to. If you've already been doing this a long time, you're very bendy, you can do that. And shoulder roll. If you have neck problems, skip this one. Just bring your head a little bit to the side and then back to neutral. And a little bit to the side, back to neutral. And the other side, to neutral. And back to neutral. Back to neutral. And let's just do a few forward circles. Even it out. Try and isolate your shoulder. Try and keep everything else still. Just let your shoulders work. Now, I'm gonna make like a chicken, and we're gonna flap our wings and fly somewhere the top of the coop. Now, I want you to make kind of a right angle with your arms. And we're just going to move them up so they're level with our shoulders and back down again. And when you're coming back down, pretend that you're pushing on something. Give it a little resistance there. And then lengthen them, and we're going to do the same thing. A little faster today, so let's do our wrists. Just light wrist circles. I find there's like certain parts of our body that we kind of neglect, and our hands are one of them, our feet, kind of the things that are there that we underappreciate even though we're using them all the time. So we want to warm those up to get them ready to face their day. Because even if we have a day off, they never do. So open and close your hands. Now you're opening and closing. We should bring them slowly up. Over your head. And back down again. And I like to do things twice. So let's go back up. And just take your forearms and fold them up like you're doing a curl. If you were doing weights, you'd be curling out to your chest, but we're just gonna bend and straighten the arms. Okay, now bring them above your head. And this may be something that you have to modify. I want you to try and rotate them as much as you can and just drop them back. So it's as far as you can get. If you can only rotate them a little, just drop them back here. If you can rotate more, bring them to the front and rotate your all the way back. Stretching is progressive, so it's not something that you can do in a week. And what I find is that it's better to do a few minutes, a couple of times a day, or 3 times if you can. That's great, even if it's just 5 minutes, rather than doing like an hour once a week or whatever it is. So that is very, very helpful. So taking and shoulders up and down, up and down. And the next up. To inhale, stretch way up, and bring it to the side. And come back to the middle. And stretch again to the sky. To the other side. And to the middle. Again, we're stretching way up, trying to get our whole body to get taller. Because in dance, what we're generally aiming for is long muscles instead of like bulky ones. So we want to be strong, but we also, it's because of how we move, we want them to be a little elongated, and that gives us kind of better lines and an easier way of movement. So, your hips, and again, we're going to go to this side a little bit less. Just kind of rock back and forth. And I'm going to go forward and back. Just a little rock. Not a big one. We're going to get to that. So for those of you who don't know me, I am currently teaching Latin social dance, so salsa, bachata, a little bit of tango, a little bit of this and that. I was a ballerina previously, so I kind of do a fusion of different styles very often. And So I try to incorporate elements of what we're gonna use later on in our classes or our choreography, our practices. So one of the things we use a lot in salsa is isolations. So we're gonna start in the middle, your weight is in the middle. And then we're gonna do a light shift to our right leg, and the hip is gonna come up. Just a little bit. This is not an extreme movement, you know, you're not sticking out like that, you're just doing a little whoop, and your hip is going to the side and back to neutral and to the other side. And this is a good warm-up, but it also is getting you ready to do your Latin dance. So it's like a little bounce, but very slowly, coming down in the middle, coming up to the side, and then your hips. Let's do a little twist here, and to the side, to the other side. Try and keep your hips, and again, this does not have to be extreme, only if you've been doing it a while. So you want to keep your hips mostly to the front, and just try and move your waist. So what I've found through a lot of experience is that it's important to find what muscle, what part of the body is driving a movement. That is to say, what initiates it, because it can give it a whole other look if, depending on what part of the body you're using, right? So if you're stepping with your knee, it'll look like that. If you're stepping with your foot, it'll look like that, right? So it makes a big difference. So I'm gonna do, they're not really squats, right? They're not the ones where you're leaning to the back. They are squats where you're maintaining some equilibrium, right? So you're just, it's like if you were drawing a line here, you'd still be very, very balanced here. And we're just gonna go down and up. If you can go a little lower, but since this is a warm-up, don't feel you have to. But our knees are something that we do definitely want to keep moving. A lot of the stuff I'll talk about is things that will keep us mobile as we get older, because it's a kind of a use them or lose them situation. It's not something you think about until it hits you and you're like, wow, I used to get up and down so easily or climb stairs so easily, and now it's an effort. So to mitigate that a little bit, we are going to exercise as much as we can and also do practical movements that will help us do those things, get up and down, pick things up, and so forth. So we're going to do another knee bend. So you come to the center, you can bounce yourself a little with your hands, and we're going to shift the weight from one leg to another. This is a little deeper than our usual weight shift, which we're going to come to later on. Okay, so knees warm, it's warm. Take your right foot and you can put it on the heel. And what I want you to do is try and isolate your hip socket. So try and keep the rest of your body still and see if you can just move your leg. So you have a joint in there, which is like a socket with the end of your femur, I believe, in there. Not a doctor, but I just know what worked for me. So, and this is something that not only do we need, but in Latin dance, you know, you can also do some isolations like this if you want other foot. But today we're just doing them slowly Just we're trying to slowly but surely also develop new movements. So in ballet, we have very specific things. You know, you're generally a good athlete if you're a ballet dancer, but there's a lot of parts that you don't use. And it was very interesting to go from that. Well, I didn't go directly from that. I went to the couch for a few years, and then I started dabbling in other forms of movement. And I thought, wow, you know, it's really, it's like going to the moon. It's so different. Okay, so now, again, if you are not ready for this, modify it, please, for yourselves. And take a deep breath. And this time we're going to go all the way down. So we're going to take a stretch here. And if you're stretched out, I feel it right there. And you'll find as you get more flexible that you're going to feel the stretch in a different part of your body. So without coming up, I'm going to slide to my other foot. And I like to repeat things. I find that the second stretch is always a little bit better than the first. So I'm hoping my voice will be back by Saturday, so I can get a little bit more of an explanation for things. Okay, so I need you to turn so you're nice and parallel. Put your knee on the floor. If you need to hold on to something, hold on. That's very legitimate. So what you're doing now is you're kind of pressing your butt forward. Well, the goal of this one is to stretch this flexor here. And this will help us when we go into our splits. There are a couple different kinds of splits. There's ballet split, which is turned out, and then there's the everything else split, which is turned in like this. So you'll need to have some flexibility there. So give that one a good stretch. You can come up and go again. Watch your knees too. And as we come up, we'll lean over our leg. So this is all preparation. We are going to do some splits today. See how that goes. Come up, pull on your foot a little, your heel towards your knee. I mean, not your toes, sorry, towards your knee. Back over. And from here, if you can, sink into your split. We're going to hold it for a little bit. Now, this is like an everything else split. This is something I had to revive. I started to lose it a lot. If it's a ballet split, it would be, oh my goodness, I haven't done that in a while. Okay, so you would turn your leg out like this from the hip, right? But we're not doing that today. We are doing this one. It always takes me a while to get down. There are some people who are just naturally, I don't know, very lucky in my opinion, and they can just kind of plunk right down in a split, but not I. I have to work into it slowly, and the first one is always a little rough. So I have to take my time. And leg. And come up. I used to time these, but haven't done that in a while, but that is maybe for another day. All right, so come up. Give yourself a little bit of rest in between. Let your body come back to normal. And then we are going to go to the other side. So come up to your knee. Hang on to something. I find that a little better. And we're going to lean forwards towards our knee. For those of you joining us, we normally do kind of a lighter stretch in the mornings, but I do feel like I need to get down in those splits right away today, so we're a little more to the extreme. So we're trying to stretch this part here. And then we're just gonna do some movements that's gonna help us with our choreography. And we're gonna do our best to get the previous live streams up. I don't know if you all have dealt with this kind of thing before, that there's a copyright. It's really just a little bit, just at the ends, music. So we're gonna try and this up so you can learn the choreography with us. We're having a lot of fun with that one. And we're learning a little bit about the process in the meantime. Okay, I had an injury here years and years ago, so this one is always a little rough. So I'm just gonna have her leg. So stretching out here, at least for me. I got knocked over by a very large dog in a park. And this is a long time ago, but she was a friend of my dog. And they would play together. She was actually much bigger than him. You know, he was a good-sized dog, but he'd take off chasing her. And let's go back into this one. Most dogs will kind of run at you and then they'll faint. They'll like, and they'll pass by you. But my dog's friend, Bea, did not do this. She just came straight at you and not too flat. So, yes, yeah. Well, one of the times that happened, I did injure myself, or rather, she injured me. I think it was probably her fault, but she was a nice dog, so I didn't blame her. All right, bring it back and look over your leg again. You can pull on your toes a little bit, turn to me. Oh, now, here we go. Let's see, did that split again? Here we go. Oh my goodness. This used to feel good, but this morning I'm not sure if it's good as what I used to describe it. But you know, like progression is also not linear, so if you have good days, you're going to have good days and bad days, and you cannot get down on yourself. And you know, things happen, and or if you take a week off, or whatever it is, you have to be kind to yourself, because there's no such thing as like perfect discipline, like doing everything exactly in a regimented way. So okay, so give me a nice little shake. And let's see what we're going to do today. So today we're going to bring our legs not into a butterfly, but we're just going to some little, so they're one foot is in front of the other. Try and keep your lower back straight. Try and sit up nice and straight. And we're just going to push on one leg and then the other leg. Try and push that knee to the floor. You can brace yourself a little bit. Push it down. And then I'm going to go the other leg. Press your knee down to the ground. And switch our feet, because we try and keep things even, exercising the parts of the body, and therefore both sides of the brain too. So press this knee down. And then you press the other knee down. And so if you bring your knees, just a good bend. Try and keep your lower back straight. And we're not going to do like a forward fold today, but we're going to try to glue our lower backs to our upper thighs. That is to say, keep it straight. So instead of curling over like this, you're going to try and put your your stomach onto the front of your leg. And from there, grab on and hug. Or you can hug from here. We're trying to get the stretch up in here, so it would be different from that. Okay. So I want to conclude with just some very small exercises. The point of these exercises is not to do them hard. It's to do them to get the feeling of the motion in your body. So for those of you who have already been with us, we do a weight transfer. We're shifting our weight first from the middle completely onto one leg. And while you're doing that, think about this square. I'll talk about this square quite a bit. So your shoulders and your hips are making a square, and you don't want to tilt that or break it. So if you're doing it, it's like it's sliding across a flat surface, and you're putting all your weight on your right foot. So if you needed to, you could lift up the other one, and then we're going to shift to the other side. Same way, slide it across the table, stay even, don't bob up and down. If you need to, you can have a little bit of weight here, and of course you can be balance with that, but you want to mostly shift the entire body weight over one leg. And we're going to go back and forth like that. This is something we're going to use a lot, and it's also something that's very good to be aware of throughout your day. So, then we're going to do the same thing forward and back. If you've ever seen figure skaters, they can't step like you do normally. They have to get right over their leg, or they're not going to be able to stand. So I'm just going to put the right foot a little bit ahead, left foot, just an easy stance, and we're going to shift to the front to the back. Again, thinking about keeping even. You don't want to go up and down. You're just going back and forth from one leg to the other. And we're going to go to the other foot, and go back and forth. And it's pretty much everything we do here has a purpose. Also, the parts we're stretching, we're going to use all of those. Okay, come to the middle, and I want you to reach up to the sky, but I want you to keep your shoulder down. But get a feeling as though, even though your shoulder is down, your whole arm is stretching. High up towards the sky. Bring that one down, take the other one up. Again, coming from here. So it's not lifting your shoulder, it's coming up here. Because as a general rule, we don't want to lift our shoulders when we're dancing. So we're going to do one arm, other arm, this arm, other arm. See if you can keep your arms straight there. So this is something we're going to be using. Now this is also something that we are going to need this Saturday. So I want you to stand. Okay, I'll do it from the profile. So you're going to stand here, and you're going to shift all your weight to, let's say, your left foot, right? So you've got all your weight. It's just a little shift, so you're not picking this one up, but you want to feel that it's all gone over this leg. And then you're going to bend the leg you're standing on, and this one's going to slide to the back. So that moment you're sinking down on the one leg, and that one's going to the back. If you can, straighten it. And with this leg, you're going to give yourself a push. Come to a standing position. So again, we're shifting your weight onto one leg. And then as we bend the knee of the standing leg. This one's gonna go behind. And you're gonna give yourself a push with this leg. So the initiation of the movement, it's really your foot. Your foot is like pushing on the ground, and that'll give you that backward motion. And we do both legs. Always do both legs. So this time, I started standing my left. This time I'm shifting all my weight over my right. So it's almost imperceptible, and then sinking down on the right, and using the ground to push myself back into a stand. Let's do that one again. So shifting to the right foot, bending that knee as the other leg goes back, giving yourself a good push, so you're up here. And when you push back, when you're pushing back, stand up as straight as you can. So just repeat a couple more times. Starting left foot, shift your weight, right knee to the back, and push. And on this leg, shift to your right, leg is going back, and push. So we're about out of time this morning, but please join us on Saturday. We are doing a choreography, and we're doing a little piece in each live stream. To the music of Ordinary by Alex Warren. And we're learning about the process that learning the choreography, putting meaning into the movement, and all the nuances that gives a really good performance. So we're doing everything, and it's a simple, all-level friendly choreography. We're doing it with a lot of explanation, and once we've learned it, we're going to go back and we're really going to clean it and put emotion and almost like a dialogue between you and the audience into it. So I hope you will join us for that, and if you have not already subscribed, please subscribe. We'd appreciate it. And we're also on Buy Me Coffee, and I love all of you in any case, and I so look forward to seeing you in the next one. So with that, I wish you a wonderful day. I love all of you, and I will see you all again very soon. Goodbye, Flair Flies. Have a wonderful day.